The late afternoon sun dipped behind Blackwood Manor, casting long shadows over the crumbling estate. Emily and her brother David had inherited the mansion after their estranged uncle's mysterious death. Locals whispered about the place, calling it cursed. Some claimed to have seen shadows moving behind boarded windows or heard cries at night. Despite the warnings, Emily was determined. She was a paranormal researcher, obsessed with uncovering the truth behind haunted locations. David, skeptical but loyal, followed her. As they crossed the overgrown path to the mansion, a chill filled the air. Birds had gone silent. The gate creaked open on its own. Even before stepping inside, both felt eyes watching them. Inside, the mansion smelled of mold, decay, something far worse than oppressive, almost tangible darkness that clung to the walls. Dust motes floated in the streaks of sunlight, but the corners remained unnaturally dark. A piano played a single note somewhere deep within, yet the room was empty. David laughed nervously. Emily didn't. She knew they weren't alone. That night, the siblings set up cameras and recording devices, documenting everything. Shadows seemed to move independently of the flickering candlelight. Doors slammed without reason. Whispers echoed through empty halls, repeating their names in guttural tones. David tried to rationalize it. Wind, rats, the house settling. She felt the oppressive presence tightening around them, especially in the master bedroom. As she examined old portraits, she noticed the eyes of the figures seemed to shift, always following them. One of the paintings, a woman in black, had a subtle, sinister smile that hadn't been there before. By midnight, David awoke screaming. Something had pressed on his chest, invisible yet heavy. He saw fleeting shapes darting along the walls. Emily, holding her camera, tried to calm him. But from the shadows behind the staircase, a tall figure watched. Hollow eyes, a twisted grin, and elongated fingers that ended before he could touch them. This was the first time the spirits made themselves fully visible. The next days were a descent into terror. The siblings discovered old diaries hidden in the mansion, revealing that previous owners practiced forbidden rituals. Black magic, pacts with evil entities, and sacrifices to summon spirits trapped in the house. Every entry was more horrifying than the last voices that whispered at night. Children disappearing, servants driven to madness. Emily attempted communication through EVP electronic voice phenomenon recordings. The replies were immediate and chilling. The spirits claimed dominion over the house. They laughed, mocked, and threatened the siblings. David refused to stay, but the mansion wouldn't let him leave. The doors slammed shut when they tried to escape. Windows wouldn't open. The shadows began following them, sometimes forming shapes of deceased relatives. One night, Emily saw a child's ghost pleading silently. The spirit's eyes were hollow, black like tar. It gestured toward the basement. David didn't want to go, but Emily was determined to uncover the source of the evil. The stairs to the basement seemed endless, and with each step, the shadows thickened, whispering in unholy tongues. In the basement, they found an altar old, worn, and coated in centuries of dried blood. Candles, now lit though they had never been touched, flickered as if in response to their presence. Symbols of a forgotten language were carved deep into the stone floor. The air burned with cold, oppressive energy. Suddenly, the altar pulsed, and the spirits appeared. One by one, figures emerged, a woman with clawed hands, a man with hollow eyes, and several shadowed children. They spoke in unison, demanding the siblings Lavore join them forever. Emily, despite her fear, began chanting protective prayers she had researched, hoping to repel them. The spirits shrieked, contorting reality itself. Walls stretched, ceilings lowered, and shadows reached for the siblings. David was dragged into the darkness by unseen hands, leaving only his screams. Emily fought with every ounce of her will. The altar cracked, and a blinding light erupted, sending the spirits into retreat. But not before one figure, the woman in black from the portrait, whispered, "You cannot leave. We will wait." Emily barely escaped. She stumbled outside into the dawn, the mansion looming behind her like a black wound against the horizon. The neighbors who had avoided the house for decades watched silently. When she looked back, a shadow lingered at the window watching, waiting. Emily recorded everything. Tapes, cameras, and diaries were proof of the evil within Blackwood Manor. But she knew it wasn't over. Evil that old never truly dies. It waits, biding time for the next intruders. The house's whispers would continue, calling the next victim. And somewhere deep in the shadows, the woman in black smiled, unseen but omnipresent. If you want to experience more real, terrifying haunted tales and cursed places, subscribe to HollowEyes now, before the shadows find you.